Railway history offers vast amounts of unique vehicles and bespoke variations, some of which are so rare and obscure that us modelers wrongly assume they will never be financially viable for a manufacturer to produce. Occasionally though, we are proven wrong, very wrong. So wrong that it scuppers kit build projects and items packed away to be modelled eventually. This infliction struck me with the Great Western Aero wagon I saw at the Didcot Railway Centre, a very unique wagon designed to carry aircraft propellers. This wagon was a conversion of a demountable wagon used to represent this wagon type, and Clark Railworks included this variant in their new demountable wagon range. As such, my 3D prints from 247 developments were rendered obsolete, as this new announcement promised a die-cast chassis with all the correct chassis detail. It was considerably more expensive though at £40, so I'm keen to see just how it feels and looks in person. This is my first ever encounter with a Clark Railworks model, and it came in a wonderful, secure box with a very pleasing colour scheme and graphic design arrangement. The product code for the Propeller Carrier is C3026, and the wagon came in a very nice foam insert that was solid but not too tight. Inside was a handy, clear and concise user information booklet. Clear diagrams show where the separately supplied details such as couplers fit, as well as how to secure the load to the underframe, or remove it. All the extras come in a resealable bag. The wagon came as an underframe and as a load, which had a small removable foam insert to increase rigidity during shipping. With the load positioned, everything in the design comes together neatly and cleanly. The wooden propeller crates drop through the wagon floor, suspended by a unique frame that can be demounted, hence the name of the wagons. The entire chassis underframe is die-cast, ensuring that the quite small, bodiless wagon still has a decent level of heft to it. There is also a ton of underframe detail, much of which is separately fitted. Different chassis types have been tooled up and produced to reflect differences between demountable wagon types, so there is variety baked into the range. The wagon has also been designed with fine-scale modelling in mind, with the 26mm axle allowing for easy conversion to EM/P4 gauge, and also the removal of NEM couplings and pockets. Back to the details. And the buffer beams are where these are most interesting. You get metal lamp irons, sprung buffers, and flexible end pipes. It's not all glowing positivity for this wagon though, as I have questions about the load. The frames and crates are a single solid unit, so this wagon has to be run either without these or with everything loaded. There is no way to run this with just the frames, or with only a single crate loaded. Given how much this wagon costs, this seems rather restrictive. By comparison, the crates that came from the 247 developments kit are huge, so at least the scaling of the load with the Clark Railworks wagon seems to be better. While I think the overall finish of the wagon is fine, it's matte as it should be and not metallic at all, I am a bit underwhelmed by the finish of the propeller crates themselves. The one I saw at Didcot had a very grainy, wooden texture which is just completely absent here. The load comes across as very smoothly painted plastic rather than a realistic wooden crate, making it by far the most disappointing component. The load though can be secured with the wires that come in the accessory pack, and these hook into very fine, separately fitted loops on top of the wagon chassis. These look like they'll be a fiddly job, but I'll give it a go and see what happens. On the scales, the wagon comes in at 31 grams, which is decent for something without a body to rely on for weight, or without anywhere to hide a metal weight strip. The back-to-back wheel gauging comes in on the money at 14.5mm. So this is a solid, weighty wagon with all of the tooling features you could ever ask for, but the load lets it down with a drab finish and lack of detail and running options. Speaking of running, let's see how the Propeller Carrier does down on the track. Before my performance tests, I decided to try and tie down the load with the provided wire sections. After realising that one wire section is shorter than the other due to the non-central position of the load and frames, I fiddled long and hard, off track and occasionally off camera as this proved incredibly fiddly. The technique that ended up being successful for me was pressing the load against the chassis and, while holding it upside down, hooking the wires into the separately fitted loops one side at a time using long nose pliers. And, it was a stretch and a tight fit. I eventually had success, but to box the wagon back up I'd have to separate everything again, and to do that repeatedly is going to be a monumental faff. The foam insert in the box requires this separation, so I either had to face this inconvenience again, or cut out the foam insert centres to allow this to be put away with the load tied down. The load really so far has been the most frustrating part of the model. Anyway, on the rails this is nice and free rolling. The weight of the die-cast chassis tempers this appropriately so it rolls to a natural stop, according to the force it's pushed with. Time to test the couplings. For this, I've got my brand new SECR 01 class locomotive from Rapido, which is also being reviewed and has also recently been to Didcot as well. I've put an SECR wagon in the train as well, also from Rapido, and stuck one of my own custom brake vans on the end. So the front coupler latched, but not the back one. Let's try again. No. The Rapido coupler seems to be slightly off kilter and drooping. Let's straighten it out and see if levelling it fixes the issue. That was more successful, so there was nothing wrong with the Propeller Carrier's couplers. Now for the points test. In forwards motion that was perfect. And in reverse it was perfect too. Now for the baseboard joins. In reverse, perfection again. And again, perfection going forwards. Let's see how the wagon handles the loop. Off the small train goes. And the wagons glide over not just the curved level crossing, but the curved board join as well. There's no issues running down Deltic Pass. Or coming over the other curved join and crossing back over towards the station. That was a flawless running performance, which is what you'd expect from a wagon at any price point. Now that I've looked into this fully, does it justify its expense? I can't say I'm convinced. On to my final verdict. Decoration. This is fine, consistent, solid and matte on the wagon itself, but is let down a bit by the load which is lacking its woody, grainy texture. It feels a bit cruel marking this down based on the load, but to me that is what is going to make or break how this looks running in practice. I did say I was underwhelmed, and given the price of this, I'm going to deduct the mark. Details and features. This criterion is where this wagon shines. Clark Railworks have not skipped out, giving us everything from separately fitted chain loops to sprung buffers. The underframe is chock full of separate parts. This is an easy point scored, and well deserved. Quality. Being die-cast with metal details all over, this on paper was another easy score. But when it comes to the design of the load, I was disappointed the options are as restricted as they are. I'm sure there must have been some way to have the crates removable, and that is fully what I was expecting, but they are not separate from the frames. Despite the brilliant quality of the main wagon chassis, overall the load design disappointed me. That might just be personal preference though, so objectively, the build quality is fine and I'm happy with it. I'll err on the side of caution here and still give it the quality point in this instance. Performance. Very little to report here other than it was completely faultless. The coupling issue was not down to the wagon itself. This is another easy point scored. And finally, onto price. This is a really expensive wagon, so in my eyes, to be worth a full £40, this needs to knock everything out of the park and then some. Some of that cost does come down to this being a bespoke wagon with a limited use and appeal, so I am astonished it got made to begin with. It certainly exudes quality construction and detail, and runs perfectly, but the load is where this just falls flat for me. It lacks the finish, texture detail and operational options I was anticipating. That to me is a pretty notable failing that unfortunately does not make this worth the money in my opinion. If it costs perhaps £5 to £10 less to reflect these shortcomings, I would be much happier. Thus, this doesn't get the price point today. So, overall that's a score of 3 out of 5, making this a wagon I can recommend with caveats. The load is not as versatile as I would have liked, and it is very expensive for a singular wagon. If these points don't bother you, then this is probably worth picking up. It is a very niche wagon, so may be difficult to shop around for at a lower price second hand, so I personally wouldn't bank on finding these much cheaper anytime soon. So what do you think of the Clark Railworks Propeller Carrier Demountable wagon? I like it, but wish it had a better decorated load, a load separable from the frames, and perhaps been a bit cheaper. Let me know down in the comments whether you agree or not. It's an interesting wagon that will likely generate interesting discussions, and interesting trains on layouts. Until next time, thanks very much for watching and take care.